Get the pop cans.
Don't speaking in other language.
I don't believe it. She runs like a gazelle.
She looks like it too.
Site. The historic site is administered and preserved by the National Park Service. Herbert Hoover, 31st President of the United States, was born in this little village of West Branch on August 10, 1874, to Jesse and Huldah Hoover. Jesse Hoover built this simple two-room cottage for his family on the corner of Downey and Penn Streets in the spring of 1871. You are welcome to go inside the cottage and look around. A guide will be there to tell you about the Hoovers and to answer questions. Theodore, Jesse and Huldah's first child, was just a few months old when they moved into this house. Both Herbert and his younger sister Mary were born here. The family lived in this house until Herbert was 5 years old. Near the birthplace cottage on Penn Street is a reconstruction of a blacksmith shop very similar to the one Jesse Hoover built and operated here in West Branch. A variety of vintage tools may be seen at the shop. During the summer, blacksmiths often work at the forge in much the same way Jesse Hoover did over 100 years ago. Just past the blacksmith shop is the first school built in West Branch. The school is outfitted with a teacher's desk and platform, and other appropriate furnishings typical of the 1870s. The homes along Poplar and Downey Street are a part of the historic site. Most of these homes would have been familiar to Herbert Hoover during his childhood in this community. Herbert Hoover's uncle, Laban Miles, lived just a few doors from the Hoover home on Downey Street. Laban Miles was married to Agnes Minthorne, Huldah Hoover's younger sister. Follow the boardwalk past the front of the cottage and across the Wapsie-No-Nut Creek to the Friends Meeting House. The Society of Friends had many members in West Branch, including the Hoover family, who worshipped in this building. This simple, unadorned meeting house reflects the lack of symbolism or sacraments in their beliefs. The quiet of the meeting was interrupted only when members felt inspired to share their insight with the rest of the congregation. Across Downey Street from the meeting house is the walkway to the Presidential Library. Along this walk is the statue of Isis, a gift from the Belgian people to Mr. Hoover for his work with the Belgian Relief Commission during World War I. Beyond the statue of Isis is the Hoover Presidential Library Museum, which is administered by the National Archives and Records Service. Here you may view a replica of the Oval Office as it appeared during President Hoover's administration. This building also houses a collection of books and objects associated with Mr. Hoover's long and distinguished career as an engineer, statesman, and humanitarian. South of the front entrance to the Presidential Library is a pathway which leads to the Hoover grave. Along this path is an overlook from which you can view some 70 acres of restored native prairie grass. 5 types of native prairie grasses and several varieties of prairie flowers display their brilliant colors during the appropriate seasons. On the hillside beyond the prairie overlook are the graves of President and Mrs. Hoover. It was Mr. Hoover's wish to be buried on this quiet knoll overlooking his birthplace.
First President of the United States, born west of the Mississippi River, marked by Pilgrim Chapter, Daughters of the American Revolution. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Down.
Oh, real authentic.
Pretty plain.
Preach, Dad, preach.
Not here.
Oh, this is neat.
Is that the organ over there? Hey, Dad, is that the organ?
That's really good.
here first. Is this? Goddess, the goddess of life. I am that which was and is and will ever be, and no mortal has yet lifted the veil which covers me. Sculptured by the Belgian artist Herbert Happenings for the birthplace of Herbert Hoover. Presented by a committee of Belgian school children, Belgian refugees, and soldiers of the Belgian army. Jesus, Library entrance to the new Hoover Library Museum. Follow the runner to the museum rotunda and the temporary exhibits beyond. Since the runner takes you through a construction area, please do not stray from the path. And above all, do not feed the workmen. We invite you to return to the completed museum August 8th for a grand rededication featuring former President Ronald Reagan. Details available inside of the gift shop. Free admission. Follow. I directed reconstruction in many nations. Uppermost in the minds of kind people everywhere was that war should cease and that peace would come to the world. Herbert Hoover, West Branch, Iowa, August 10th, 1962. And I wasn't even born.
Okay. The war in Iraq is starting right down there. That
Is this the record player? The record player? The vacuum? That's fine. No, look at it. He's real. Hoover, I know who he is now. Can't find him there. Television. On April 27th, 1927, an image of Herbert Hoover, who's in Washington, appeared to Walter Gifford of American Telephone on his telegraph, who was in New York City. This was the first intercity transmission of a video image, the first television broadcast. The camera consisted of a carbon arc light, a metal disc with pinholes in a spiral pattern, and a photo cell. The receiver in New York had a neon bulb, a similar disc as the camera, and a small screen. The President of the United States is located in the West Wing of the White House and was built in 1909 at the request of President Theodore Roosevelt. This display features some of the original items used in the Oval Office during the Hoover administration. Mr. Hoover was the first president to have a telephone in his office, and this one was used to make the first transatlantic cross from the White House. The desk set was a gift to President Hoover from the members of his cabinet and bears each of their signatures. Behind the desk stands the American flag and the presidential flag, which bears the seal of the chief executive. The chair was used by the president, but the Oval Office desk remained when Hoover left the White House. Used by his successor, Franklin D. Roosevelt, it is now located in the Roosevelt Library in Hyde Park, New York. The desk displayed here was used by Herbert Hoover in his Waldorf Astoria apartment for nearly 30 years. The wonders of nature.
What is it doing?
It's carrying a wasp.
That's an Iowa ant. Only the ants in Iowa can do that.
Only the ants in Iowa can do that.
They eat all that Iowa corn and it makes them strong.
And it's coming back.
He's coming back to let you take another picture. He knows he's on video.
Waving. Hi, Mom.
Hi.
Oh. sign that says don't even think of smoking here.
You can see it?
At the point where we needed someplace to put it. Oh, this was it. We've been home just over a year. That came from Fletcher, July, that's 1910. That's no, when this building was a lawyer. So we had to take out two meeting rooms, two offices, a meeting room, a full bathroom, and a shower, and a entry. There's a suspended ceiling. Everything you see to get this in here.
Whoa, what's this? How? How do you do? You're a joy. What?
Why do you keep doing that?
He doesn't want his picture taken.
He was looking at the video. Good morning.
I'd like to go up to the cemetery.
Yeah, let's go to the cemetery. I want to step on the grave.
He knows that's his house.
I want to step on the grave. I think he's tame though.
This one up.
He is. He's tame. He's got a collar.
They're walking.
Well, I was wondering because I knew there had to be the cat still had to be there because it was.
Henry, go walk towards it. Look at him. Henry, walk towards it. Yeah, he's not gonna run away. Where'd he go? There he is. Yes, do it. You deaf?